Hi everyone, it's Nat from Neurodivergent Nat & Co on YouTube, where I make videos about neurodiversity, autism, ADHD and chronic illnesses. You can also follow me on Facebook, which is the Mandurah Neurodiversity Centre, and my website is mandrandcentre.com. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about autistic strengths. Ta-da! Yes, we have strengths. And this is a fantastic subject to talk about because you'll find that in the media, at work, heck, in society, we are stereotyped. And there's a lot of stigma surrounding autism and ADHD and neurodivergence in general. So I wanted to talk about autistic strengths because we have many strengths. Sorry, I'm doing this thing with my hands. I might just put my hands down. We have many strengths, and it's something that I think it doesn't matter what your age is, if you're autistic and you're a child, you're a teen, you're a young adult, you're a mature age adult. We have strengths, and yes, we can use them. We can use them to our advantage, and it's also about acknowledging our strengths, understanding our strengths. So let's get into it. If you like this video, I would love you to subscribe. I would love a thumbs up, but I'd also love your comments. I'd love your feedbacks. And yes, so that would be great if you can give me some feedback, comments. Okay, so autistic strengths. So a lot of what I talk about, I've got so many videos in mind, I just don't know where to start. It's overwhelming, actually, the amount of things that I want to talk about. Since I finished my psychology degree, and then this year, 2022, I did the grad certificate in autism studies. There is so much that I have researched, and so much that I think that would value the autistic community. So I do videos sporadically because I homeschool my kids, so I don't think I've mentioned that in any of my other videos. I homeschool my younger two boys. They are 11 and 15 because they are also both autistic and neurodivergent. There's ADHD and also Tourette's. So, and that's probably a great video. It's probably another great subject for another video. So yes, the reason why I post things and there might be a long break between videos is because I get busy facilitating their learning. Okay, so neurodivergent advocates, or advocates in the neurodiversity community, argue that society would benefit from learning about autistic strengths. And do I agree? Yes, 100%. We have difficulties, yes, we face challenges. We face challenges every day. But the reason why I want to focus on strengths is because so much is known about, I guess, yes, our challenges and what we're, when we receive a diagnosis, it's very deficit-based language, which actually stems from the medical model of disability. And when you get your, if you have a formal diagnosis and you get your report or your assessment, yes, it's going to be a lot about our deficits, where we struggle, and our challenges. And over the 11 years that it took me to study my psychology degree and my postgrad certificate in autism studies, obviously I've had to do a lot of research. I've had to do a lot of assignments, and the research is very much still, it uses that deficit-based language. And the great thing is that there are more and more autistic advocates now in the community, which is so fantastic to see. It's so fantastic to hear our autistic voices. So this is another reason why I guess it's maybe more personal, that why I do want to focus on the strengths, because I really do want to highlight why it's important for the non-autistic community as well to acknowledge and learn about our strengths. So I'll talk about that a little bit further on. So our strengths, or I guess the opposite, our difficulties, are contextually based and socially constructed. So what do I mean by that? I mean that how someone perceives the strengths that you have, it's going to vary from context to context, and what's going to impact on that are the societal and environmental barriers that we face. So, you put me with other autistic neurodivergent people, and our strengths are going to shine because, we won't be masking, we'll feel comfortable, we'll feel supported. So one tip is that when you consider your strengths, maybe also think about your interests. What are your interests? Because a lot of the time your strengths will be about like your interests. It'll be how you will actually, if you think about your interest, then you will start to kind of see the strengths that you have. So for example, me and gardening, I love plants, I love nature, I love gardening. So I feel like I'm quite knowledgeable in that area. So, that can be one of my strengths. So I guess what I would like you to think about is in what context or situation or environment do you think your autistic or neurodivergent strengths would shine? So it could be in the workplace, it could be in the community, it could be in relationships, or it could be in the school community. So, and also, how do you think this might change, or how do you think your autistic or neurodivergent strengths could shine more if you were better supported? So I'll just let you think about that for a minute. I'll just put that out there, because your strengths are more likely to shine in an environment where there's a good person-environment fit. So what do I mean by that? I mean that it's about the match or the congruency between like a person's abilities and the environment that they're in, the opportunities that they've been given. Yes, I have got notes because there's a little bit that I wanted to cover, and I just feel like it's really important that I get this out there. I think with your strengths, a good way to think about it is, you've got your strengths, you've also got assets, what you can bring, and positive attributes. So I think that kind of triangle, it all makes up our strengths as a neurodivergent person. I think it's really important that society actually presumes that we have competence, especially autistic individuals that are nonverbal, that use different forms of communication like AAC, or have an intellectual disability. I'm only speaking as a person without an intellectual disability. But I did want to acknowledge that I think it is really important that we also do consider autistic individuals that, may be nonverbal, but obviously they use different forms of communication, and that in itself is a strength. So what is meaningful inclusion? So you may have heard of the term nothing about us with us. So that basically encompasses listening to our voices. So society would benefit from listening to our autistic voices and how we can better be supported. So essentially our strengths can shine. So I just wanted to touch on some of the strengths. Now, a lot of what I've said today has come from the research, and I will link all the articles below in the description. But these are some strengths, you know, if you're watching as a parent of an autistic child, or maybe you're an autistic adult and you're thinking, you know, I'm at work and I'm really struggling. You know, these may be some strengths that you haven't actually considered as strengths. So, for example, academic, you might be really good academically. You may have a good memory. You may like to follow rules. You are good at advocating. You might be really good at art or drawing. I know my 15-year-old is just very talented, amazing at drawing. He's just wow. Like, it's like wow. You might be technically minded. You may be good at coding or with animals, and I know a lot of autistic people, we love animals, pets as well, fantastic for our mental health and well-being. You might be hardworking. You know, you may be good at hyper-focusing. Now, you know I am. If I'm getting into something that I'm really enjoying, I will hyper-focus and I will really concentrate and focus on what has to be done. So that kind of links into attention to detail. So that's another strength. We can be honest, loyal, have fantastic music ability and the ability to hear notes and, you know, whether it's singing or playing an instrument. We tend to be more logical with our thinking, good at problem solving, understanding complex patterns, have high morals and also justice. So, you know, a good career may be like as a lawyer, you know, especially if you have that sense of justice. Repetitive tasks, you know, we might be good at really focusing on tasks that are repetitive, which others, like non-autistic people, might find boring. Good at numbers, like I remember number plates. That's a pattern in itself, really. But yeah, good at numbers. We might be an expert or really knowledgeable in a certain area. So like I said, you know, with my gardening, we might have a good sense of smell, which I find that I do, and I can pick up, you know, especially you think about this as a strength, like if you've left the gas on or if someone's left the gas on, I am more likely to pick that up before, you know, other people. Detailed focus. We also are creative. Like there's so many autistic and neurodivergent people, like we're so creative. We can be good with spatial reasoning, empathetic. So yes, Mythbuster, we can have empathy, and I have a lot of empathy by the bucket load, which does make me very sensitive as well. But you know, that is a strength. We can be funny or good with the humour, and also have a unique perspective on things as well. Like, and you think about like what I've just said, these are all strengths, and these are just some of the strengths. We have so many more strengths, and like I said, in the right context, in the right environment where we feel supported, you're going to see more of our strengths, and we're going to shine. We're going to shine as neurodivergent autistic people. Why do we want to focus on strengths? So think about it for a minute. Like what I've said earlier is that autistic people are still stereotyped. We're still stereotyped like, you don't look autistic. Like, heck, maybe I don't, but then there is no look for being autistic. It's what's going on in here. It's how we perceive things. It's what's going on and how we feel and how we interpret things. So focusing on our strengths can actually help reduce stigma and the stereotypes that I've mentioned. Yes, I am female, I'm not male, I'm an older woman, and yes, I received my diagnosis last year, age 45. So coming up next year in April, it's been 2 years since I received my diagnosis. And this is another reason why I want to share more and more videos about being a late diagnosed autistic woman. So also with our strengths, it opens up a conversation about autism and our potential. So if someone said to me like, oh, I see like you seem to be really enjoying that, then I can talk about, my autistic traits and how, I might like to hyper focus on something. From an employer's point of view, if you have an employee that has the attention to detail, that will focus on things, that might see patterns that others don't, these are all strengths. It improves our self-esteem, our confidence, our life skills, and our quality of life. And there is a lot of research, and this will be another video that I'm going to talk about, is autistic adults' quality of life. And there is a lot of research that does show that we don't have the same quality of life that holistic or non-autistic people have. We have a lot of chronic health conditions. And I'm speaking from personal experience. So if we can unmask and show our strengths, you can see the potential that we have. And also the other reason I wanted to focus on why I'm talking about strengths is because so we're not defined or pigeonholed by our challenges or our deficits. Yes, so if you have a child that's autistic and you're struggling and you wonder how they're going to be when they get older, I just want to let you know that we all have strengths, and sometimes it just takes a minute to look at it from a different perspective. What your child does, they actually may have a lot of strengths that you haven't considered as strengths. So one of the other things that I do is I support autistic adults and families that have autistic children in the community, and the majority of the work that I do is online. So in fact, if you're watching this from overseas, I'd love for you to get in contact with me, or please mention something in the comments below. My website is mandrandcenter.com, and I'll write that in the description as well. So yes, hopefully this video has been really helpful. Hopefully it's made you think more about maybe if you're autistic yourself and you haven't thought about it in a way that actually it could be a strength. Hopefully that's been helpful for you. And if you're not autistic, if you're an employer, please listen to our voices. We have a lot of strengths. We have the ability to enhance the workplace, to increase production, but we need to be given the right supports to do so. And if you are autistic and you're a younger person, please know that, we are here, the autistic community is here to support you. Hopefully the strengths and the things that I have mentioned today, you can take away with you and have a think. I'm happy to produce a PDF. Please mention in the comments below if you would like a PDF from today's talk, and I can mention the research articles and also all the strengths that I've listed. Because if you are, for example, leaving high school as an autistic or neurodivergent person and you're struggling to find employment, self-advocacy can only happen once you understand how autism is with you, your own autistic identity, your own autistic traits. So once you understand more about your strengths and what you can provide, for example, for an employer, that's when you can start to really self-advocate for yourself. So again, understanding and acknowledging your strengths is, I believe it's really important as an autistic person. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity for me to share my voice. And yes, please, I'd love for you to subscribe. I guess I'm hyper focusing on doing some videos at the moment. So the house is quiet, the boys are out. Yeah, I'd love to, like I said, I've got so many more videos and information from my psychology studies and my postgrad autism studies. Research that I've found, I would love to share. So yes, please let me know if this is something you'd like to hear. So thank you and have a nice day.